Report story. By Sashin08. Summary. Izuku Midoriya admitted that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, his first and closest friend of UA Academy, but what will happen when a childhood friend, foreign exchange student comes along and Ochako completely falls for him? Dot. Chapter 1. 3 days after Valentine's Day, the echoes of giggles and chats of UA students inside the hallways became louder as they discussed about their gifts, incoming dates and confessions. Some of them received jiri chakos, flowers, and presents, while others received hame chakos and love letters. Izuku was glad to receive jiri chakos from his classmates and friends. It was his first time to receive presents during Valentine's Day. While in the middle school he was isolated and received nothing. He was flustered when he received a special gift from Uraraka. Unlike other Choco gifts from Class 1A wrapped in a plastic tied with a red ribbon, her gift was placed in a blue small box, wrapped with gold and royal blue ribbon, All Might's colors. Inside, it was heart-shaped Choco with a small note, "Happy Valentine's Day, Deku-kun." He didn't know if Uraraka gave her jiri or hame Choco for him. But whatever it is, he was glad that he received special gift from a girl he had admired. As he came, he heard sweet and adorable giggles inside the classroom. It was Ochako Uraraka, his first friend and one of his closest confidants. The girl who gave him blushing mess with a single smile and could always lift his spirits, a gesture he did his best to return. Whose selflessness knew few bounds and often inspired him to work or to push himself harder. There was a time when Ochako fought a villain at the city of Hosu where many robbers attacked civilians to steal their gadgets and bags, and Uraraka acted quickly. She grabbed the villain, subdued, and Izuku's heart skipped a beat as he was mesmerized to see her action with a cute smile of her face. In his eyes, it was remarkable moment, but he couldn't fathom why it made him so flustered. Of course, she's his best friend, but why he felt different about her. He smiled back to her and he will do everything with his powers to protect her smile. Izuku's mind stops when Ochako calls his name and waved him with a smile. Izuku's face turned red in embarrassment as he smiled and waved back to Ochako. Ochako sighed as she stared at a plain-looking, timid boy. She wondered why she felt strange whenever she saw his smile. Is it because you like him? You've got a crush on someone, right? It's love. Aoyama, Toga and Mina's words played in a never-ending loop inside Uraraka's mind. She can't eat or sleep right for days because she had other things going on in her mind. She remembered the day where she met Izuku. His trembling, skinny legs almost comically. His mop and messy green hair. His cute-looking freckles. His giant yellow backpack. There's something about his not quite there but can do attitude had put her at ease that day, so when he'd tripped, she had instinctively helped him. Since then, it had mostly been him doing the saving, not only for her but also her classmates, friends, and civilians. Just like her, Izuku never hesitates to jump into action whenever there's someone in need without thinking about the consequences to himself. He had done many things for her. He's strong, smart, kind, hardworking, cute. Wait, did she thought him cute? Uraraka took out her English book and opened it immediately to cover her reddened cheeks as she thought of the last word that she used to describe him. Why the hell she called him cute all of a sudden? What's wrong with her? Girls found him plain looking, shy guy, but he also had a certain charm to him that made him easy to look at. But more importantly, her main goal is becoming a hero someday. As she thought about her parents suffering from their jobs and financial struggles, she took down her book and frowned. That's right. She needs to work hard for her parents. Ochako sighed and then glanced back at Deku while writing his notes. She thought that Izuku was an amazing person and he will definitely become the greatest hero in the future. His quick thinking along with his incredible strength and speed made him a force to reckon with, and he almost mastered his new quirk called the Black Whip. He works hard and stays true to his goals, no matter what he has to do to get there. Promoted stories. You'll also like Ohm Fluke Day 112K 8.2 kilo amperes. Collection of short Ohm Fluko for 365 days. Please check the second book for the rest of the day's update. Her prince from the underworld half demon is 0.26.1K 462. It's basically the same story as my succubus Momo X Deku story. I know, real original, but hey, now you guys get a Deku from the other side of the tracks. Zero Deku Onishots 31.6K 798. Because of circumstances, this book won't be continued, unfortunately. Feel free to check out my other stuff. Thank you for understanding. Convicted Hearts 3970. Like my other story but ILI longer. The Kings and Queen Yandere Wakfu X Reader 58.6K 1.8 Kyonder. Wakfu X Reader. Images do not belong to me unless stated. Wak- Wakfu does not belong to me, it belongs to Enigma. This is being rewritten in another book on my profile. Izuku's Harem Academia 191K 1.8 Cust. Read. Not all heroes wear capes. Some just have 8.43.1K 1.4 kilo. Everybody. This is a suicidal, depressed Deku book with Dadmic. Will their bond grow? Will Mike fuck up? Will Izuku try to kill himself? Find out yourself. Number 1 Radio. Deku-kun is truly an amazing hero and I need to push down these feelings so that I will become a better hero like him. Ochako remembers the girls' conversations during their sleepover 2 months ago. Momo mentioned that there are a lot of incoming hero activities so they might have no time for romances. That's right. There was a lot to learn on the road to becoming pro heroes. Beyond the practical exams and exercises, homework, written and practical test, graded recitations, so free time was a nearly foreign concept at this stage of their lives. All of a sudden, her slight smile turns into frown that almost tear up a little. She remembers that Izuku wanted to become the greatest hero someday just like his idol, All Might. He worked day and night practicing his quirk and developing in different fighting styles. I guess he doesn't have time for romance after all, and he sees me as a friend and nothing else. She thought as she glanced back again to Izuku still writing his notes and wondered if her inner voice would reach him. He deserves more happiness with other girls than me. Ochako Uraraka, please read the second phrase. Present Mike called as he discussed about reading comprehension in English class. Ochako stands up along with her book. Hi, sensei, she says while browsing it to page 74. Even though she has lots of things going in her mind, she still listens to her professor's boring lecture. She took a deep breath and read aloud. It was broad daylight when Anne woke and sat up in bed, staring confusedly at the window. It was 11 p.m. and Uraraka sat just outside of the dorm building and the rest of her classmates. She really should have been sleeping right now, but she just couldn't. She had other things going on in her mind. In her report card, she got average scores and ranked 13th in her class. She needs to study harder so she will get high scores. She hates math, especially geometry and calculus. Recently, my heart's been all stirred up about something. It's love. Love. Me and Deku. Nah, it's not like that, not us. We're best friends and we're not together or anything. Just, like connected or whatever. No biggie. Just like what I've said before, he deserves more happiness with other girls than me. Uraraka's mind raced, while crossing her arms. Was she right about this? Or was she wrong? It was too much pressured. Sure, she admired him, a lot. But that doesn't mean that she has feelings for him, right? After all, best friends don't fall in love with each other. Fluorescent lightning from the dorm building beamed down the Bermuda grass, illuminating the surrounding area as Uraraka preferred to sit in the grass and looked up at the starry night sky as thoughts swarmed her head. She let out a quiet sigh with her knees held in her chest. Ochako has always loved stargazing. Whenever she fell down or sad and happy, she always came outside to gaze the stars. Her mother would bring her up to the flat roof of their apartment when she was a toddler, sat her down on her lap and spent hours pointing out constellations and tracing patterns of her own in the night sky with a lit march. As she getting older, she would still allow herself that one small indulgence. Those precious moments before she went to sleep where she could gaze up into the sky and let herself be lost in the 100 million tiny lights and a shining silver crescent moon above her head. Uraraka-san, a voice spoke out from behind her. She nearly jumped out of her skin and a small shriek escaped her mouth. She quickly turned around to see who was calling her name this late at night. It was Izuku Midoriya. Wore plain t-shirt, black jersey short and red rubber shoes. A light blush appeared on her cheeks as Izuku walked in to approach her. He looked concerned because of his unexpected appearance that seemed to startle her. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but what are you doing up this late? Izuku asked with an apologetic look on his face. His large muscular hands waved around in front of him. Uraraka smirked and then she lithely chuckled at his funny antics. He really did act like a big nerd sometimes. It's okay, Deku-kun. I wasn't expecting you to come here. I couldn't sleep well, so I decided to come here for stargazing. What about you? What are you doing this late? She asked with light blush still dusting her cheeks. Izuku gave her a smirk while scrubbing his mop hair. I couldn't sleep also, so I decided to go out for training. Can I sit next to you, Uraraka-san? Izuku asked politely. Sure, she says as she moves sideward to give a place for Izuku. Thanks, Izuku replied and sat down next to Ochako. Izuku looked up the stars and said, You're right, Uraraka-san. The moon and stars are so beautiful tonight. Ochako's eyes widened as she stared at Deku's freckled face. She smiled and looked up in the starry sky. See there. That line of stars there. Ochako rose her arm and pointed up to the sky where there are stars form into a shape of dipper. Izuku squinted his eyes to find the stars. That one looks like a dipper, he asked. Hi. That's Ursa Major, the North Star. You know that early sea travelers used constellations to navigate their locations. Whoa. Ochako very pointedly ignored how his emerald eyes shone as she moved from one star to another, the light there matching the ones above. Look over here, Deku-kun. Deku-kun, she said, pointed to the direction of the three large stars. Those three stars are the Orion's belt and you find the rest of him around like. She moved her finger for a moment, struggling to remember how her mother showed her, smiling as the memory came to her. Like this, do you see? He followed her movements with his hands, though much less confidently, fingers sluggish and imprecise, like this. She laughed. No, here, she grabbed his hand gently without thinking, helping him map out the stars as she had. Izuku's face turns red as she happily held his hand into pointing finger and directly towards the stars. See. 1, 2, 3. She turned to him with a bright grin. She noticed that her face was a little bit closer to Izuku's face. It's like they are about to kiss. She'd taken a bit aback when she saw the red flush to his cheeks, and noticed, as if just now, how she had grabbed his hand, like that. Why yeah, IISC it end now, he startled but showing his sweet smile. Ochako felt her heart rumbling loudly as she quickly held her knees to her chest. Chest. Izuku wanted to held her hand again but he slowly put back his hand away from her and continued gazing at the sky. You know, I couldn't sleep because I had a lot of things on my mind. So, I figured that I would come sit out here. Ochako said as she shifted her feet in nervousness. She couldn't tell him that she was thinking about him. She secretly hoped that he wouldn't ask. Yeah, me too. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about all of the important people in my life who encourage me and make me a better person. Aside your parents, Uraraka-san, who else encourages you? There's a childhood neighbor friend that I met years ago who supported me my entire life. But, he left me when his family decided to live US permanently. And you encourage me too, Deku-kun. Ochako thought to herself with reddened cheeks. She wanted to tell him but was way too nervous to do so. She shook the thought from her head. Did you, missed him? He asked. Probably, she replied with a sad look at her face. What about you? Who encourages you, Deku-kun? She asked with her usual bubbly attitude. Izuku smiled and looked up again at the night sky. It's my mom, he said, and he thought back to that moment where his mom told him about her promise. She told me that she promised that she'll support me with everything I've got from now on. And there's All Might. He's not just my favorite idol but also my mentor. He pushes me to become the best hero that I can possibly be. I want to be just like him and save people with a smile on my face. I'm really grateful for him. Izuku explained. And then, you, Uraraka-san, Izuku continued to explain. Ochako was caught off guard from his compliment and her rosy cheeks flushed red. Wait, you're saying that I encouraged you? Ochako asked confusedly as she tried to hide her blushing cheeks. Izuku's smile grew bigger as he looked at her. Hi, I used to hate my nickname, Deku, before I met you. Kachan called me, Deku, as an insult because he thinks that I'm useless. Now I realized what you have told me the meaning of, Deku. Deku is Dekiru, the name means, to do my best. And, he scratched his head while saying, your smile and your positive attitude makes me and other classmates feel better. You support me no matter what and why you care a lot about everything. About me, Izuku startled to say with a big smile. 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 Big smile. Ochako looked wide-eyed at Izuku, completely astounded from the things that he was describing about her. You're smart, pretty and determined and, when I watched your match against Kachan at the sports festival and other random villains during our team-up missions, I was amazed. You came up with smart strategy all by yourself. You took so many hits but didn't back down. Remember when I was called to fight next with Todoroki-kun, you told me. I'll be watching. Good luck out there. You encouraged me to give it my all in my next match. You made me want to fight harder and encouraged me not to give up easily. I was so blessed by having you by my side, Uraraka-san. Izuku said, showing his warm and beautiful smile that only her can see it. Ochako didn't know what to say. She was just told from a person that she admired, that he actually admired her too. Her rosy red cheeks darkened and tears slowly started to fall from her eyes. Uraraka-san, you're crying. Did I say something wrong? Izuku stuttered out with concern in his voice. Ochako quickly wiped her eyes and giggled softly. No. It's just, these are tears of joy. Deku-kun, she replied continuously wiping her eyes. I didn't expect you're so nice to me, so nice to hear that you think so highly of me. Ochako said with a smile of her face. Izuku smiled back and gently held her hand. Well, I really do. Izuku replied and noticed that he held her hand. He immediately removed it and scratched his cheeks. Sorry about that. It's okay, Ochako said with a smile. While whipping her tears, Izuku has a great idea to cheer her up. Hey, Uraraka-san. Why don't we go back inside? I could make you something that will help you sleep peacefully. Izuku said as he offered his hand. Huh, oh okay, she said then grabbed his hand. stood up and walked back holding hand with Izuku inside. Izuku went inside the kitchen to turn on the electric kettle, put out their pink and AM mugs from the hanging shelves and put some of ingredients inside. Ochako sat on a stool and leaned on a counter to see what Izuku is making. They continued to talk about random things in school, heroic exercises, projects and so on as Ochako could smell the aroma of a lavender. After 3 minutes, he gave Ochako's pink mug to her. Before she sipped, she could smell the aroma flavor of lavender, milk and honey. Ochako's eyes lit up as she drank it. Oishi. Is this lavender milk tea? Ochako exclaimed as she gulped some more of it down. Izuku simply smiled and said, secret. Ochako pouted and looked at Izuku with her serious but beautiful brown eyes. Izuku started to chuckle as he thought that Ochako's angry face was so adorable. Kawaii, he teased. Ochako's eyes widened almost drop her mug. What? Betsuni, he chuckled while enjoying his lavender milk tea. About 30 minutes went by. They continued to drink and talk about anything that came to their minds. Ochako found herself very much enjoying spending time with Izuku. It was rare that they got to hang out together by themselves. Too bad Iida-kun wasn't here to spend time with them and drink some of Izuku's lavender milk tea. Then, a long yawn escaped Ochako's mouth as she washed her emptied pink mug. Sleepy? Izuku asked as he peeked the wall clock near the hanging shelves. It was now 12:45 a.m. and they need to sleep early for their classes. We should probably call it a night anyway. I don't think Iida-kun would approve of us staying up this late. Izuku said with a hint of disappointment in his voice. Ochako felt upset but she knew that he was right. We can do it some other time, don't you think, Deku-kun? She said as she handed her empty mug to him and stood up to stretch. Izuku smiled and said, yes, Uraraka-san, we can do it some other time. Izuku put their two mugs in the shelves and left the kitchen. They walked towards the elevator and went inside. They pressed their respectively floor numbers and the elevator started to move up since Izuku's floor was closer. He was the first one to get off. I'll see you later. Oyasumi-nasai, good night, or rather good morning, Uraraka-san, he said waving his hand. Ochako made a slightly sad smile at him and waved back. Oyasumi-nasai, Deku-kun. The moment the elevator closed, Izuku can't help it but smile. He walked into his dorm room, changed his clothes and jumped on his bed. His thoughts from earlier came back into his mind. Her cute smile. Her beautiful large brown eyes. All this time, he admitted that he really liked her. Did you, missed him? Probably. He wondered who is this childhood friend that she had mentioned in their conversation. He told her that she was the one who encouraged her to work hard as a hero. But, what? About her? I need to tell her how I feel about her soon, he thought to himself as he got under his blanket and slowly fell asleep. The next morning, Izuku walked down the halls of UA on the way to his homeroom class. All morning, he had been thinking about the events that occurred last night with him and Uraraka. He had finally admitted that Ochako was his crush, but Could he be able to act on it? As he reached his seat next to Katsuki Bakugo, the green-haired boy watched his crush chat with her frog friend while writing something on her notebook. Her curly brown hair swaying gracefully when Mina called her name to invite her with fellow classmates for a game. Izuku loved her hairstyle so much as he kept on staring at her brown curly hair side to side from her face or sometimes, tying her hair into cute ponytail style during training and exercise. He let out a deep sigh letting his green hair ruffle a bite in front of his eyes. He thought back to the first time he met her on the day of their entrance exam to be exact. Her brown eyes sparkled along with her adorable smile when she apologized about her quirk. I just think it'd have been a bad omen if you tripped, you know. Uraraka's words still stuck in his mind whenever he remembered something about her. He took out his hero analysis notebook number 13 opened to a page where a small white envelope was located. Located. He spent days writing a letter about his feelings for her but it didn't work so he crumpled the envelope and hid it in his notebook so nobody would dare to read it. Okay. Kaminari, please unmute yourself. You know the rules, Mr. Aizawa said as he entered the room with his usual bored tone. Kaminari nodded and he quickly turned off his MP3 player. Their homeroom teacher, Mr. Aizawa, arrived and greeted by his students with a bow. He bowed down, glared his students and gave sigh of relief that everyone were behaved like military students. Before we begin our class, there's something very important that has been shared with you all. Listen closely. Aizawa began to speak in a dull tone. The students noticed that their sensei hadn't moved from the doorway since he arrived. We have a foreign exchange student for today. Aizawa continued. He then walked away from the doorway and a boy followed behind him. They stood at the front of the class. He had wavy blonde hair, good-looking facial features, tall and body build. He looked around the same age as everyone else in the class. He was taller than Izuku Midoriya but a little shorter than Shoto Todoroki. His smile like a dreamy prince charming and blue eyes as like jewels from the sea. He was also wearing UA's uniform. Everyone was surprised and curious about the guy. Guy. Everyone except Mineta, the great boy. Mineta furrowed his brows and crumpled his note as he saw a dreamy prince in front of them. Why the hell they didn't choose female foreign exchange students? He angrily muttered as the girls of the class started to mesmerize his appearance. Everyone remained their silence as the blonde-haired boy walked in the front of Ojiro and Shoji desks. Konnichiwa, I'm Liam Ford Anderson. I'm 16 years old and a scholar of Michigan University. I'll be your classmate for 3 months to see how your school on this side of Japan operates. I can speak English, French, German and Japanese. Omi ni kakarit koi dezu. It is an honor to meet you. He said to the class with a sweet smile. Smile. Everyone in the class was excited about the new guy and started to bombard him with questions. Liam was caught off guard by the sudden attention and tried to get everyone to calm down. Suddenly, Liam saw someone familiar behind Tenya Iida. He saw a cute girl sat behind with brown hair and rosy cheeks. Ochako. Ochako Uraraka. Liam exclaimed as he leaned his head forward. Izuku surprised as he glanced back to Uraraka. Ochako however was busy staring at him with a heavy blush on her rosy cheeks. Her mouth was slightly open as she surprised to see a familiar person in front of her class. T. Takumi-kun, Uraraka said to herself as she continued to stare at his familiar face. Chapter 2. Oi, extras. Stop staring him. Bakugo exclaimed as he glanced back angrily at Liam and Uraraka. Liam asked Mr. Izawa to sit next to Ochako Uraraka. Izawa got his word and ordered his students to carry his empty seat and replaced next to Ochako while Sato transferred behind Momo Yaoyoruzo's seat. Izuku couldn't take his eyes off of them as Liam chats happily to Ochako, his best friend and a major crush. Ochako Uraraka, did you still remember me? Liam asked as he keeps bugging the zero-gravity girl. Ochako scanned his face and took in every little detail. From the blue eyes to his cute cleft chin. Yes, it's definitely her childhood friend and neighbor named Takumi Sato who left her without saying goodbye. You're Takumi Sato, right? Ochako asked, making sure that he was her childhood friend. Friend. Yes, it's me Takumi Sato. But why did you change your name from Takumi Sato to Liam Ford Anderson? Ochako asked him seriously. Liam smirked and then he replied, my mom married a US ambassador. Since he wanted to adopt as his own son, he changed my registered name from Takumi Sato to Liam Ford Anderson. But what about Takumi? Ochako asked again. Liam answered back, Takumi Sato is no longer exist. Right now, I'm Liam Ford Anderson, son of an US ambassador and future US politician. Ochako shook her head as disappointment. She still remembered the boy who named Takumi who is gently loved by his family and friends and always there for her whenever she needs a company. He went to her home every day to visit her and to play bidama, marble, hide and seek and nawatobi, jumping rope. When Ochako and Takumi reached 6 years old, Ochako's parents learned that Takumi and his mother decided to stay permanently at the US. So by the time Ochako came home early from school to play with her neighbor, Takumi and his family left their home instantly. He never told her anything about his stay in the US and he never said goodbye to his one and only best friend. Now, Takumi was changed and she almost didn't recognize him. That Takumi she knew was chubby and jolly little kid but now, he grew up tall, handsome and body built. It seemed to her that an angel had fallen from the heaven and just so happened to land in her classroom. Izuku was super enthusiastic about the new guy, until he looked to his right side and noticed Ochako. He noticed how she was staring at him with wide eyes and her rosy cheeks were flushed with a deep red. A concerned look appeared on Izuku's face as he frowned at the girl without her noticing. So that guy is Uraraka-san's childhood friend mentioned last night, he muttered as he kept his eyes on Ochako. Maybe Uraraka-san is just excited to find out that he was his childhood friend. Yeah, probably it. You have nothing to worry about Ochako, Izuku Midoriya. Midoriya, Izuku thought, trying to reassure himself. His frown lessened slightly. Hey, handsome, wanna hang out with us after class? Mina flirted and asked Liam. Liam smiled back and said, sure, why not? I haven't strolled around the city of Musutafu. Quiet, Aizawa shouted to his lively group of students. His eyes flashed red and his black hair went up as he glared at his students. Everyone in the room was immediately silent and Liam looked around confusedly. Teacher here in UA looks so strict and everyone here acted like a military group or something, Liam mumbled as Ochako tried not to laugh in front of her teacher. After biology class, they now proceed to the last class, Heroics 101. All of Class 1A students took their number cases and went out to precede the training ground. What kind of quirk do you have? Kirishima asked with a big grin on his face. Liam also came without his hero number case. He wanted to tag along to see what kind of training they'll face. Face. He wanted to see Class 1A's hero costumes and their quirk, and especially his childhood friend Ochako Uraraka. He wondered what she looks like when she wore a hero costume. Liam smirked and said, my quirk is known as a card magic. I can do whatever I want using my cards. That quirk is useless in the battlefield, Bakugo scorned as he listened about Liam's quirk. Yeah, it's useless unlike Bakugo's explosive quirk, he said as he showed his game card with Bakugo's data analysis. Bakugo was shocked when he saw his card has lots of details about his performance, his strengths, his weaknesses, and so on. Everybody gathered as they read Bakugo's data analysis from his card. This is amazing. How did you do it? Izuku asked while Liam mixed his cards. Well, I used my powers to gather informations from a person in front of me. While walking towards the training ground, Liam showed all his examples using his cards surrounded with several ooh and ah sounds from Class 1A students. How about Momo Yaoyorozo's boob size? Mineta blurted out with a crazed look in his eyes. The girls were absolutely disgusted and the boys felt ashamed, except Kaminari who gave Mineta a thumbs up sign. I'm not letting you ask this question in front of our classmates. Tenya exclaimed as he moves furiously his robotic hand faster. Izuku watched as Uraraka began to talk with Hagakure about something as the girls headed towards their changing room. Liam chuckled and whispered to Minetta's ear, "I'll tell you later, but for now, you should go inside the changing room, great boy. You're my best friend for now on." On, Mineta said with his eyes sparkled with happiness and dashed inside the changing room along with his classmates. "What about you? Where are you going?" Kirishima asked. Liam shoved his cards inside his pocket and said, "I'll be waiting for you guys in the training ground. I'll see you guys later." "Yeah, see you later, bro." Kirishima replied back. Izuku felt his heart slowly start to tighten with every second. He had constant frown on his face as he walked towards the changing room, thinking about Liam and Uraraka. "That guy. I don't trust him." Bakugo scorned while changing his hero costume. Kirishima's eyes widened while unlocking his closet. "Why did you say that?" "That guy is a spy. He knows everything." Bakugo exclaimed. "Nah, probably you're just jealous that you told him that his quirk is useless. It's so pretty obvious." Kaminari said while fixing his weapon, glasses and jacket. "You said something, Dunce face." Bakugo yelled while showing his fist in front of his face. "Calm down, Kachan." Izuku whispered as Bakugo was about to punch Kaminari. All of the students arrived at Gym Gamma, also known as Training Dining Land or TDL. This was the building where Class 1A and 1B came up with and practiced their ultimate moves in preparation for the hero licensing exams. Everyone wore their hero costume except Liam still wore his school uniform. His PE uniform wasn't available at this moment, so Mr. Aizawa ordered him to stand next to him and observe their trainings. Izuku furrowed his eyebrows when Liam stared directly at Ochako. He heard Liam's mumbled, "She's so hot," when Ochako came in the gym Gamma along with her female classmates. Liam wanted to talk to her more, but Aizawa told him to remain at his side. Thank God, Aizawa stopped him or he might harass Uraraka-san, he thought while fixing his gloves and watching Uraraka investigating the scenery. There was a large mountain-like structure that held many of the robots from the entrance exam. The layout of the course was rather simple. First was a pathway leading to the mountain with jagged cement rocks that held 6 or 7 robots. Then, the mountain went up the pillars arranged in a slight spiral. There are another 6 robots scattered and hidden behind the rocks, making the students have to go out of their way to destroy them, and the last pathway with 2 gigantic pillars hid one 0-point robot. Behind the gigantic robot was a pedestal with a buzzer on it, signifying the end of the course. As you can probably guess, we're going to have a little obstacle race. Everyone will participate in this. Everyone including you, Mr. Anderson. The goal is to destroy all of the robots and make it to the top as fast as possible. There are more than 10 robots in total. Let's see who can get fastest time. Aizawa explained to his students in his usual monotone voice. The students were getting pumped up for this. A chance to show everyone their skills. Liam remained relaxed while observing the layout of the course. Perfect. This is my chance to impress Ochako. Liam thought to himself with a determined face and a slight blush. Yes, this is my chance to impress Uraraka-san. Izuku thought to himself, his face exactly matching Liam. I'll be here to repair the course if it gets damaged. As for the robots, a new set will be brought out after each person. Now which one of you is going to go first? Smintas said to the students. There were many shouts of enthusiasm coming from the group and Liam remained calm while raising his hand. Kirishima ended up going first and came out with a time of 23 seconds. Seconds. Bakugo came in second and finished his job with a time of 15 seconds. Then, it was Liam's turn to attempt the course. Everyone was interested to see how the new guy's quirk would fare in this challenge. I'm ready, sensei. Liam said as he prepared for the course. Izuku was watching with 101% attention. Then, a countdown started. 3, 2, 1. Go! The robotic voice announced as Liam took out his game cards and scattered around, forming into a huge white rectangle. When its shape turns into black, Liam jumps in there. He used his cards some kind of portal where he jumps out and kicks every robots hidden in the mountain. For the last gigantic robot, he threw his game cards and stabbed each parts of the body like a kunai. He used his mantra to release his explosion devices hidden of each cards. His time came out to 7.5 seconds, beating the time of Bakugo and Kirishima. Kirishima was impressed, but Bakugo felt mad that his skills are way better than him. After announcing his result, Liam lifted his hand and all of his cards piled it up into a single hand. The girls are shouting, amazing, or, great job, but Liam turned to face Ochako with a cute wink. He didn't expect so much praise from a simple exercise. Ochako found herself staring at him again with blushing cheeks and a crooked grin on her face. He used to play marbles and solitaires, but now, he's strong and smarter too. Ochako thought as she watched her childhood friend crowded with people. Izuku noticed Ochako staring at Liam and began to feel upset. But, his face was filled with determination almost immediately after. He was going to try his best to get her attention and to show how strong he is than Liam. Izuku came next after Liam and went straight towards the beginning line. As the countdown robotic voice announced, Izuku released his 40% full cowl and ran fast, jumped, kicked and smashed every robots he'd encountered. He used his black whip to smash other robots, and when he reached the final destination, he used Deltroid Smash to destroy the gigantic robot. Because of his determination, his time came out to 7.1 seconds, beating the time of Liam. He quickly made his way back down to the ground level. While most people in Class 1A were cheering for him, Izuku felt proud of himself for beating Liam's time. Deku-kun, I couldn't believe how fast you moved. You were Ama. Ochako began to praise Izuku before she was cut off by Liam. Hey, you with green hair. Liam shouted as he waved at Midoriya. He looked up in surprise to see him waving at him. You're Izuku Midoriya, right? Your speed and power are incredible. I had no idea that this class was filled with so much talent. You're really amazing, bro. Liam said with his smile. Izuku's cheeks grew deep red. Okay, this is totally weird. I wanted to impress Uraraka-san. Not you. Izuku thought to himself while glancing back at Liam. Thanks, I guess. Izuku blurted out. He immediately glanced over to look for his best friend until he heard her name was called next. Izuku watched as she walked up in front of the course to get ready. Come on, I can do this. I've got to beat Liam's time. Uraraka said to herself. As the countdown began and announced go. Uraraka raced forward towards the mountains using her weapon to pull herself faster. She used her quirk to touch into floating robots and quickly punched. As she reached the final destination, she used her quirk again to lift the zero-point robot and smashed it down using GMA. Her time came out to 22.07 seconds. She used her quirk to float down slowly to the ground level. The girls cheered her, but Ochako couldn't help but feel disappointed in herself. After all, she couldn't beat Liam and Izuku's time and to impress Izuku like she wanted to. Oh wow. As I thought, she just keeps better and better, Izuku thought as he walked towards his crush crowded with people. Uraraka-san, you, Ochako. I can't believe it, you're super duper amazing. Liam shouted as he waved at Ochako. Ochako quickly became embarrassed and her entire face was red. Red. Oh. Thank you. Ochako blurted out. You're pretty and strong too. She immediately noticed what he said and covered her face with her hands, which was now even more red. The class laughed at Ochako's reaction. Ochako slowly looked up and a big smile appeared on her face. She turned to Izuku, who had been standing there this whole time. Her eyes lit up as she spoke to him. Deku-kun, I can't believe it. Liam actually noticed my skills, and he was impressed from what I did. This is wonderful. Ochako told Izuku with enthusiasm. Izuku's expression wasn't nearly as happy as Ochako's. He beat and won Liam's time but still haven't won Ochako's heart. He stared at the ground with a sad look in his eyes. Yeah, it's great, you're great. Izuku said in quiet, dull voice. He felt like he could start crying right there. Ochako noticed his tone of voice and immediately grew concerned. Deku-kun, are you okay? Ochako started to ask him before she was interrupted by Aizawa's announcement. Dash 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 dot. It was currently lunch and every student was getting their food to eat. Midoriya, Uraraka, Tenya, Todoroki and Asui had already gotten their food and sat together at a table to eat. Though still feeling a little dizzy from time to time, Ochako felt satisfied with herself while Izuku felt relieved that he got Ochako's attention. He scored a good time on the course, impressed and even managed to beat Liam's time. He felt slightly more pride from the last comment than the others. Izuku ate his favorite katsudon and chatted with his friends happily, until, "Hey, mind if I sit here?" The handsome blonde guy asked as the female students around them gossiping and asking his name. Liam had just gotten his lunch and was looking for a place to sit, as the cafeteria was often crowded. Izuku felt a sharp pain in his chest as he noticed the zero-gravity girl. He looked to the person sitting on his left and saw Ochako's face turned red. His previously happy mood turned into an upset, slightly jealous in a matter of seconds. "Sure," Ochako replied. Liam sits next to Ochako as Iida scooted over his left side. Izuku felt his whole body stiffened when Liam sat down next to Ochako. "My name is Tenya Iida, Class 1A's representative. May I just say that it is an honor for you to accompany our class. It is a pleasure to meet you." Iida said as he bowed from his seat, his head almost hitting the table. "It's a pleasure to meet you too, and this must be Izuku Midoriya, right?" Liam said with a good-looking smile on his face. "Why yes, nice to meet you," Izuku said as cheerfully as he could muster. "Suyu Asui. But, you can call me Sue if you like," Asui said with her sweet smile on her face. "Shoto Todoroki. Nice to meet you," Todoroki said with a straight face. Liam was overjoyed with meetings of few new people. Only Ochako wasn't introduced to herself. He already knew her well. "It's so nice to meet all of you. To be honest, I wish I had some time to meet everyone today. But, I'm only supposed to stay for the hero classes for 3 months and go back to my hotel room afterwards. So maybe I'll know everyone in the class by then." Liam explained to the fellow heroes in training. Izuku noticed that Ochako looked down slightly when Liam explained the amount of time and days that she was gonna be with the class. "Ribbit. If you want, you can meet our classmates in dorm building," Asui said in a straightforward tone. "Well, either way, I'm glad that they let me have lunch too. It's so cool that Pro Hero Lunch Rush makes the food here. I can't wait to taste this donburi with sakura-shaped mochi. Mochi is my favorite." Liam exclaimed as he started to eat. He sighed in satisfaction as the food melted in his mouth. Ochako looked at him in shock from what he said. She ordered the same thing that he did. Wait, mochi is still your favorite too?" Ochako asked him quietly, still slightly in shock. Liam nodded his head excitedly as he swallowed whole mochi. "Of course, didn't Auntie told you that I loved mochi and you followed?" he said with excitement to the brown-haired girl. Ochako's face lit up slightly. Slightly. Mom didn't tell me that. I thought you hated it. She just told me that you like sweet pastries. But now, I'm loving it, especially with chocolate, red beans, and vanilla flavor. They're delicious. Liam said while swallowed some of teriyaki chicken meat. Chicken teriyaki donburi taste yummy. It's so good. I remembered how I ate lots of donburi from your mother. I would eat it every day if I could. My mom used to make it for me a lot. Her cooking is amazing. No wonder why your mom asked for a recipe. Ochako giggled while munching her favorite mochi. Ochako and Liam continued to talk about random things at home and at school, while the other four at the table just watched them. They both seemed to remember the things they played, studied, and danced when they were younger. Liam, Midoriya, Iida asked. The green-haired boy had been looking down this entire time. Izuku slowly looked back over to the two who were still talking happily. Izuku's eyes were filled with sadness. Tears threatened to fall from his eyes, but he fought to hold them in. The two did seem to go along well, and he hated that he was going to lose her. He looked back down towards his own lunch. Yeah, they're fine, sure. Izuku muttered in a dull, shaky tone as he continued to eat his lunch as fast as he can, wanting to leave the cafeteria immediately. Iida gave his friend a concerned look. It was clear that something was bothering him, but he didn't try to push any further. Where stories live. Discover now.